Hey everybody, hope you guys are all doing okay. Welcome back to our Siralim Ultimate Let's Play, and this episode is going to be a big one. We're going to finally see what guilds are all about. And to do that, let's talk to Everett. And well, here we go. This is our first introduction. I'm seeing it for the first time, as perhaps you might be as well, unless, maybe you might be a Siralim veteran who's way ahead of me, in which case you already know all of this, but I am looking at a lot of this stuff for the first time. You just established your first guild. Guilds allow you to take on bounties and hunt for false gods. Some of the most powerful enemies you'll encounter in all of Rhodia. Okay, this part I kind of knew. I knew that guilds added a new boss type, which are perhaps even more difficult than any other kind of boss in the game. That much I knew. I think that much was kind of just announced in the update, but the rest of this is a bit new to me. Okay, so false gods will give you reputation for the guild, and you need reputation with the guild to unlock everything with the guild. Okay, so far so good. False gods also drop anointments. Now this is another thing that was kind of spoiled, that this is a way to get perks that aren't from the specialization that you chose, kind of creating hybrid classes. But in order to get anointments, we're gonna have to beat false gods, which honestly sounds like it's not gonna be easy. But the first thing we have to do, and there's an interesting icon in the bottom left, not sure what that means. What I'll do is I'll start a new project for now. Let's just start on a new guild, and let's actually go into decoration mode. It might seem strange to do it this way, but you do go into decoration mode even to place things that aren't strictly speaking decorations. So in this case, if we go to utility/NPCs, this might be where we find, here we go, with the guilds. This is where we find the life guild. And we have to place it. We can place it wherever we want. Let's think about how we want to do this. So, what are the rooms that we have? What are they looking like? And this is kind of important. Okay, assuming all of the guilds are the same size, one could go here, two could go in each of these corners. I'm sorry, I'm very vain about putting things in a way that's aesthetically pleasing to me. And there are going to be 5 guilds in the end, so that's what I'm thinking ahead to. And then maybe one could go in this corner, one could go in this corner, and then we could put some optional aesthetic decoration stuff in the middle. But for the first one, let's just throw it down in the middle over there and exit decoration mode for now and go, and it's a bit of a walk, and let's go and we'll talk to them and see what this guild has to say. Okay, the shop, we are reputation level 0. Okay. Ooh, and we also have other passive bonuses. Attack and spell damage, and healing given, healing received. Interesting. Right. And I guess we can seek out a bounty. Let's see what this is about. Okay, so we have to pay for the right to do a bounty. I mean, the payment is trivial because look at the bottom of the screen. We've got a lot of those resources. Although if we, depending on how often we're paying for bounties, that could end up depleting those resources in the long run. But for now, I don't even know. See, I haven't even looked at the other specializations to see what their perks would be. I could change my specialization right now to see what we'd get for the others, but honestly, realistically speaking, long term, we're gonna be beating all the false gods anyway, so how about we just start from the top of the list and then make our way down, starting with Caliban the Unredeemed. Pay 50 red amber, 100 shiny amber, and then we're told we'll find them at realm depth 426, which isn't that the floor we're on right now? That's kind of scary. No, 421, sorry. I was 5 off. So we have some time before we have that nightmare to worry about. Okay, so we've activated that quest. Was there anything else at all that I wanted to do? Well, we've also got this almost completed Rune of Prophecies, and let me just check how... Okay, we should be completing the hunt as well, assuming we beat this realm. So I think now the time's come to just do another realm. 323 feels like a pretty good item bonus, and these properties, at least the ones we're seeing, seem like they're gonna be manageable. Oh, we should also check what bonus we have. This week we have a 25% greater chance to find nether stones. I should have shown this earlier on in the series, but each week there's gonna be a different passive bonus for certain kinds of loot. So for the first few episodes, the bonus was a greater chance for enemies to spawn with a skin, which was funny because we only found one skin, and that wasn't even from an enemy, it was from a random chest, so I don't think that was even the previous bonus giving that to us. Whereas we found a bunch of cards, despite it not being the week where you have a good chance to find cards. That just shows you that even if you have these little things that are nudging the probabilities in a certain direction, ultimately, because it is probability, it can still end up going the other way. Ooh, and our Goblet of Trials is also almost full. So that's probably what it's gonna be like. We'll do one run, then we'll have to come back and deal with the Rune of Prophecies and the Goblet of Trials. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do it that way. Was there anything I needed to do with regards to my build? I don't think so. Well, no, we gave the Nadine Rift Dancer extra spell slots. Yes. Which currently we haven't put anything in them. I'm going to have to give her some stuff. Probably some sort of damaging spells that scale off of health. Like, we'll have to modify them to scale them off maximum health. But that's gonna be something... Well, we don't need to do it right now, because we're not really struggling when we're fighting against normal enemies, so, you know... Let's just go ahead and do this round. Oh! I picked a random realm, didn't I? You know what? I'll donate. I'll pick up this emblem, I'll pick up this loot, and I'll get into this... I'll pick that up. I'll get into this fight, and I'm going to forfeit, because, well, the enemies clearly have a speed bonus, yes, because they're all going first, and I'll forfeit. It's gonna be painful, we lose our fortune bonus, didn't really need it anyway. Okay, let's do it properly. But now that I know we're not doing random realms, let me reroll my loot bonus. Okay, 322. Again, seems pretty similar to the one we just left. So, yes, we'll go to the Bastion of the Void. We did As Your Dream last time, and Bastion of the Void was next in our list. Gotta make sure I go down this list properly and talk to all of the gods properly as well. And let's look to the left, look to the right. Start by talking to the god. This is Tenebris, the god of shadow, who says, each and every day you must fight against the negativity that threatens to consume you. Never let your guard down. Inspirational words there from the god of shadow, and let's make a donation. Which Tenebris says is to be celebrated, and then thanks us. I love the music in this realm, by the way. Alright. Now, the object we just interacted with was one of those things that I mentioned. Different realms have different ways of buffing yourself, or debuffing the enemies, or some combination. In this case, this is a double debuff to the enemy. They lose a bit of speed, they lose a bit of intelligence. Let's see what we're dealing with. Enemies have minion doppelganger, which is pretty bad because it gives them a chance to take extra turns. But apart from that, and apart from us getting damaged every turn, oh, and they're fused with whites, which that actually is kind of bad. That actually is kind of bad. A whole bunch of reclusive whites, one Gravebane white. Okay. So the Gravebane white, I believe, will damage us when we die, similar to the effect we're putting on them. And some of the other whites will have a chance of coming back. Okay, some sort of garbage is happening. Why do they have resurrection code? Who has resurrection code? After this creature dies, it has a 50% chance to resurrect its allies. That's such nonsense. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to resurrect. Actually, no, we can start by doing Archangel's Blessing. Give ourselves some buffs. Then you can use Major Resurrection. Okay. It took a while, but we took them down. Alright. Keep methodically making our way outwards. Okay, and we reached another favor rank. Dumplings have an even lower chance of fleeing, and we find a Pandemonium Shrine, which gives us a buff. Rewarded. Would have preferred it to give us a special encounter, but I guess giving us a buff is fine. There's also a chance that the shrine will simply not do anything, and then that's obviously the most disappointing outcome of them all. What I'm gonna do is another Gravebane white. I'll punch you normally. So we're gonna take some damage. I don't know what's going on. But hopefully this is the end of... Hopefully this is the end? Okay. That's the trouble with fighting whites, is it's very hard to tell when the fight's gonna end or whether some garbage is gonna happen. Okay, we definitely have to cast Contagion. They had a lot of really annoying minions. Now we have to do regular reincarnation. And then brace ourselves for some more resurrection nonsense. But then hopefully we can shut these down, and then corpse explosions can kill any stragglers. There. Come on, man. Resurrected twice in a row. That's... With 5 of them, I guess... God, come on. I guess one of them was bound to do some nonsense like that. But now... that enemy is dead as well. It's so hard to tell what you're faced with. And by the way, that... like, the fact that it's so hard to know what you're getting into, and, like, there's no way to prepare for it beforehand either, because it's random. That's one reason why I didn't feel, like, bad about starting this series this deep into the game, like, and not at the very beginning. Because normally, with most games, the way it works is that like, the early part of the game is there to teach you about what is happening later in the game, and then by the time you're deep into the game, you kind of have a handle of what the game is like, at least. But in this game, no matter how far you are into the game, you're always gonna be on edge, having no idea what's coming at you, because, well, with one caveat. If you're playing at Realm Instability 5, which is the highest difficulty modifier, then you'll have no idea, and then your, you know, like the hundreds of hours you have behind you won't necessarily... Okay. Like, your hundreds of hours won't necessarily give you an advantage when enemies show up with a... Okay. This is bad, because what does a Gravebane White do? When it dies, enemies take damage equivalent to 30% of its maximum health, and mimics, like dumplings, like treasure golems, start with boss level amounts of health. So this is, like, we need... Yeah, okay. We need somebody to have, like, rebirth, because otherwise we will lose when this mimic gets killed and blows up our party. So let's keep casting Archangel's Blessing. Maximum buff of 1 is really holding us back. I'm just going to... You have Arcane, so you can cast Germinate without too much of a... Well... Didn't really matter, because we... Okay, that... is something... I don't know if this is a bug, or if there's some reason this happens. So, our Centaur Duelist, when Fury Swipes triggered, did proper damage, attacked and hit every time. But then, when I attacked him with my Centaur Duelist, he went through the attack animation, but then nothing happened and no explanation was given. It's not like the enemy dodged the attack. It's not like they had damage reduction and the enemy received an attack that did 0 damage. It simply registers that he did his attack, and then nothing else happens. I feel like this has to be a bug. Or if it isn't a bug, then the explanation for why it's happening this way is not being given properly by the game. Again, I'm not doing that, because that's going to be our insurance policy when this guy dies again. Okay, he died for the final time. His special ability didn't trigger. That's good. But if he had some sneaky way to resurrect again, at least we would have had a way to... Excuse me, a way to... let me just... yeah. We would have had a way to survive one extra turn. Right, this is probably our... this is probably our master enemy. This is probably going to be the Reaper master. And Reapers fused with whites seems like it's going to be an absolute nightmare to fight. But there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing we can do. So before we fight them, let's loot everything else. Honestly, enemies being fused with whites is almost like if I was playing by myself, I would just probably forfeit and come back and roll new realm properties. Like, it's that annoying, but so far we're kind of surviving. We're definitely not going to summon divination candle enemies under these highly unfavorable circumstances. Alright. Okay, what is going on? They don't seem to have any Grave Bane whites, so at least we don't have that to worry about. The Dread whites are going to infuriate us by coming back over and over, in defiance of the fact that they should only have a 50% chance. It always feels like they've been coming back at a higher probability than they should. I'm sure that's just me imagining it. Like, the fact that it's so annoying makes it feel like it's happening more often than it... Okay, he is a Roof Stalker white. That's what they do. They do these kinds of annoying attacks. And my unicorn has been killed, which means... we don't automatically shut down their resurrections, but we just had one enemy to kill. Alright, alright. More of those. I'm not going to end the realm quest just yet. I don't want to clear this realm this early. Alright. Let's start with a normal attack. Is that what we want to do? We do have two different Gravebane whites, so maybe what we want to do is start with the macro. Okay, this is going to be a very irritating fight. Archangel's Blessing. Just to make sure we have... You know what, let's cast Reincarnation again. And then Archangel's Blessing. Oh, you're doing rather well. Took one of them down, and then hopefully our health can withstand these the guys who are gonna damage us when they die. I think we're doing fine. Our Dread White didn't quite make it, but everyone else who did get their health buffed did make it. Alright. So, one other thing I don't understand about this realm, this one realm in particular, is, you know these rifts that we've been interacting with? When we go into them, it makes a bit of a sound, and it says Rift Sealed. I don't actually know what that does. Because it feels like it doesn't do anything when I clear all the rifts. I'm honestly not even gonna fight these guys. wisps fused with whites. Like if we've cleared everything else, I might go talk to them, see what's going on. I don't think I want to do that. But now, I think I'd rather go into these areas. These are some more of those offshoot areas with mini bosses. By the way, you might be wondering, oh, can't you just grab these 2 chests and leave without fighting the boss? But no, the chests are sealed. Not only that, but once you go inside, you can't leave either. You have to fight the boss. So let's fight this boss. Once again, 2 different Gravebane Whites. So let's do it the same way we did before. Let's use our macro. Then our Rift Dancer can... our Rift Dancer can use Archangel's Blessing. And then we have to survive these 3 attacks. Which we did relatively... with relative ease. And now we should win easily and... should be able to tank whatever damage they're able to throw at us. Alright. I feel like I've figured out a way to fight these guys. I had to figure it out on the fly, but I think we've done it. The way is to be a little bit defensive, knowing that if you just race to kill them, you might be dooming yourself because they might do damage to you upon their deaths. But these guys don't have any Gravebane Whites, so we should be fine. So knowing that they don't have any Gravebane Whites, let's try to shut these guys down quicker without, you know, using Archangel's Blessing. Definitely a little scary. Very scary. And because they killed our unicorn, we're not going to be able to shut down their resurrections. I don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Clearly something took control of my units away from me. I wasn't ordering them to do those attacks. What actually happened? The Fury Swipes happened. Animators couldn't attack. So twice in a row, the Animatus and the Rift Dancer couldn't act. Okay, so it seemed like I lost control, but it's just that the frozen debuff, we just had really bad rolls on it. Okay, so looted a bunch of those. Now, let's fight the Master. You might be wondering, why not end your Realm quest? Well, it's because you can only fight Masters, or you can only have a guaranteed chance to find a Master at your highest realm depth. But if you fail, like if you complete the realm quest, you'll automatically unlock the next realm depth. But if you don't beat the Master, then and if you somehow lose to the Master, or you lose to someone else before you get to the Master, or you forget and you just leave the realm, you won't be able to go back to the... Like, even though... Like, if we end this realm and go to the next realm, even though we didn't beat this Master, if we came back to this realm, this Master wouldn't be here. We would only be able to fight Masters at higher realm depths. And there are a lot of Masters to fight, and I don't want fights against Masters to be outpacing the rate at which I don't want our realm depths to be outpacing the rate at which we're fighting masters, because then not only are we forced to fight these very difficult enemies, but it'll be under under the more difficult circumstances of facing them at higher levels. I hope that makes sense. So what if we just attack? What if we just attack? Alright, that kind of worked. What are you? You're fused? Okay, fortunately the one of them that survived doesn't really have a good way to fight us. Its trait only works if it had allies still alive. However, it does have the annoying trait that cast Archangel's Blessing. I'm not even gonna use the macro because I'm very paranoid. I'm gonna see something. So you attacked with Fury Swipes and you did damage, but when I attack with you manually, it doesn't work. That has to be a bug, right? It surely has to be a bug. Surely, because like, everyone else is doing damage when attacking. Okay, so we beat the master. It was very tight, but we did it. Now we can end this realm, which did a bunch of things. It ended our project. Ooh, and we can start a new guild thing as well. You know what? Why not? Let's even fight these wisps. All we need to do is go first. Well, they went first, but didn't make the best use of their turn. Okay, some garbage is about to happen. Ooh, but they didn't resurrect, so that kind of helps us. It might be another wisp fight. Indeed, there is to the southwest. We'll fight those wisps, and then we'll go back. We've got another guild to set up. We've got the Goblet of Trials to deal with, and then we've also got our Rune of Prophecies to hand in. So this way you cast this just to give us some protection. We got a double cast. One of them was one that only had a chance of casting. And that one did trigger, so that's good. So I think now we should be fine. We should be able to withstand this garbage. The one that was fused for the Dread White came back, because of course it did. And a bunch of others also came back, but were immediately banished back into oblivion. The Dread White, the one fused with the Dread White, came back even more times for no other reason than to annoy us, but we were able to deal with it eventually, just due to the combination of effects that we had. Okay. Now there's no reason to not just head back, because we do have a few different things to do when we get back, and it's probably going to be an episode where we do only one realm. Well, we'll see. After we're done with all these things. Well, first of all, let's hand in this hunt. This has completed our prophecy task. And our rune of prophecies is ready to turn in. First thing we'll do, the very first thing is we'll hand in our rune and you'll see what happens. When you hand in the rune, well, this is what happens when you hand in a fully filled out rune. We completed all 12 lines, we get over 30,000, that's a good amount. And some other random bits of loot, including some random trait materials. That's nice. And now we get a new Rune of Prophecies, and now I think is a good time to show you with all of these unfilled. So basically, what the game will do is it'll give you this thing. It's kind of like a bingo card situation. The way it works is, well, there are all these different tasks on it. This one is to gather trait materials, so the ones that we got from the previous rune that we just filled out is even counting for this one, which is kind of nice. So, we've got a few different types of tasks. This one, obviously trait materials, this one is to simply win battles. This one is to gather emblems of any kind. This one is to activate Pandemonium Shrines. This one can take a while just because of the RNG on it. This one is to gain favor with the gods, that one's usually pretty easy to do. Dig up buried treasure, again another RNG heavy one, because you don't get buried treasure in every realm. There's only a chance for it to happen. The ones to kill specific kinds of creatures will just happen over time as you go to different realms and fight different enemies, because, you know, the different classes of enemies are spread out throughout the game. This one is to complete missions of any kind. Missions are... I think missions are the wait, is it missions or is it realm quests? Like, this either is talking about the realm quests that you do, the ones that you're given upon entering a realm, or it's talking about projects. We'll figure out what it means because it feels kind of ambiguous. This one again is to kill a certain type of creature, as is this one. Next is to gather trick materials. We have already made some progress on it based on the reward we were just given. This one is to find Nether Realms, another RNG heavy one, which could take a long while. This one is to complete Keyforge missions, which I will pretty much always be running just because I want to gather a lot of keys. This one is to defeat Creature Masters, you know, those enemies with their party loadouts focused on particular races and also having extra bonuses, like the Reaper one we just fought. So we've got to fight 3 of those. This one is to gather resources. This one is just gonna happen. This one is to specifically fight Divination excuse me. Kicked my desk. This one is to fight Divination Candle enemies, something that's just gonna happen eventually. This one is to fight Nemesis creatures, which should happen pretty quickly. This one is to get piety from any source. This one's gonna happen actually, I think, just now when we hand in our Goblet of Trials. This one is to gather stat materials. This one is to fulfill the Goblet of Trials. This may or may not pop when we collect our Goblet of Trials, because it might refer to... I don't remember whether it refers to filling it up or to collect the reward from a filled goblet. This one is to kill sorcery creatures. This one is to play Kino with the Riddle Dwarf. Excuse me, specifically to spend 2 tickets. I know the wording is a bit weird because it seems to imply that you have to find 2 new tickets and then use them, but no, you can have a stockpile of tickets and then just use 2 of the ones you already have. In fact, I'll prove that to you just now by heading over to those guys. This one is to just break objects in the realms. This one is to defeat a false god. Okay, so we wouldn't even be able to complete this Rune of Prophecy already without fighting a super boss. That's making me very nervous if I'm honest with you guys. So first things first, let's play some Kino. You're the Kino guy, right? No, you're the Siralim guy. You're the Kino guy. Let's just spend the minimum of 2 tickets. And my clever strat of just picking the entire top row and then half of the second row. Well, it didn't do that badly for us. Another 600 notoriety and some small amounts of rewards on top of that. Okay, good stuff. Now let's go and collect our Goblet of Trials reward, which is going to give us even more piety. 12,000, that's pretty good, and some other rewards including knowledge with certain creatures, some trait materials perhaps, or just some other things, like some like a collection of different loot items. So we completed 2 different prophecy tasks. 3. Okay. 4. Oh my. So it did complete our Goblet of Trials task. So I think if we had collected our goblet before we got a new Rune of Prophecy, it wouldn't have counted. So it was important to do it in that order. It also completed this one. We got piety. It also completed these 2. So we've already made some progress on this rune. By the way, each time it refreshes, it shuffles the tasks it gives you. Ooh, and like, you don't need to fill the entire thing in order to get a reward. You just need to, like, as soon as you complete any line, it could be a vertical, it could be a horizontal, or one of the 2 diagonals. As soon as you have a line finished, you can hand it in. But usually you'll want to do a little bit more than that. You'll basically want to read and see, are there any of these objectives that I can do easily in just a few runs, get those knocked out, and then get a bigger and beefier reward. You usually don't want to do what I did with the previous rune. Like, you don't want to wait until the entire thing is filled, because usually the things that are left at the end are the heavy RNG type ones, where like you're just waiting to find a treasure golem, or you're waiting to find Pandemonium Shrines, or the game has given you something really long to do, like in this case Keyforge missions are long, but previously the mission was hunt missions, which are pretty long to do. So there's that. The other thing, do we have more? Oh, we did indeed also unlock the Sorcery Guild. We gotta do that. So let's immediately just get all of the guilds unlocked as quickly as we can. And let's throw down our second guild, which can go to the right. Again, you do that by going into decoration mode. And you go to add decoration, and then you go to utility/NPCs. Unfortunately, it sorts them alphabetically, and I don't know if there's a way to change that. So the guilds aren't all together. But we do get the Sorcery Guild, which I think this seems like a nice location for it. We can move them around later if we don't like them. Can we get a bounty from them as well? Or will it prevent us? Yeah, you have already accepted a bounty, so we can't stack bounties with all the guilds. That's fine. That's fine, I guess. But we placed our second guild. And one important thing that we need to do is every time the Goblet of Trials, the way the Goblet of Trials works is that you need to beat it, but you have to have a certain, like only certain classes will give you progress on the Goblet of Trials. And I think the way it's intended is to encourage you to play different classes, but it also gives you a chance to randomize the required specializations. So the way I do it is, I'm playing as an animator, I love this class, I want to stay as this class, so I keep randomizing until one of the 3 classes is the animator. And sometimes it can take a while, but this time it happened pretty quickly. But there are times when I've spent, hundreds of thousands of essence, like 5,000 apiece. There's literally a time where it took me more than 50 rolls, which is more than 250,000 essence. But fortunately, I've got a lot of essence, I've got a lot of resources of every kind, so we will be poised to make more progress on the Goblet of Trials as we go further. Finally, I haven't... Well, I kind of have, but I'm sitting with over 600,000 piety. That's a lot. Nothing to spend it on. The main thing to spend it on at this stage for me would be to get a new relic and then give it to one of my creatures, or to upgrade one of my existing relics, or to upgrade my reliquary in general. I'm sure a lot of these would be useful to have, but I want to focus on relics first. But I will have to think long and hard about which relic I'm intending to get, because it is a pretty big investment. It takes hundreds of thousands of piety to fully upgrade a relic, so I want to make sure I pick the right one, because you don't get refunds. That said, there are achievements for upgrading all the relics, fully upgrading all the relics, so you'd want to do it anyway. But of course, you'd want to do it in a way where they're actually helping you in the game, rather than just being really expensive trophy items. Anyway, I think that's everything to do for this episode. It's running a little bit too late to start a second realm, but we had a lot to talk about. I was seeing guilds for the first time, and perhaps you were as well. We placed 2 of them, 3 more are in the works. And we handed in our Rune of Prophecies and got a new one, and immediately filled out a bunch of these squares as well, and collected our Goblet of Trials reward as well. So it's a pretty successful episode in that way. And of course, we beat the realm that we went to, and even beat the trainer in that realm. A tricky realm. This is gonna sound arrogant, but I'm gonna say I feel like I made it look easy, but it was more luck based. I'm secure enough in myself to admit that it was largely luck based. It could have gone really badly, especially the fight where it was Reapers combined with Whites, because they can really mess you up. Reapers have a lot of one-hit kill abilities, and we didn't have Blight helping us out at this time around either. We could have blighted them, but that would have prolonged the fight and only given us a chance, because then they would have had to have a Blood Reaper specifically attack our low health creature. So not a reliable way to win. So I don't want you thinking that the way we beat Kichi last episode is a reliable strategy that you can rely on. I know after the episode I was tempted. I'm like, maybe we can use this to kill enemies, but no, it requires the enemy to hit certain ones of your creatures, and there are very few ways to do that without wasting your turns, provoking, when you could be doing more productive things. And even if you're provoking, there's no guarantee that the enemy you want will be the one that lands the blow. So that was just pure luck, and we had a bit more luck. In this episode, the luck wasn't that we won when we were we should have lost, but luckily we won. It was more that the annoying things that could have happened with Whites and Reapers were kept to a minimum, kind of. So that's a different kind of luck, but one that was very much appreciated by me all the same. Anyway, I think that's about all that I have to talk about, so it is time to wrap things up. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you will stick around for the next episode as well, when we're gonna inch closer and closer to the next nether boss fight, and also the next, well, our first false god fight. Both of those are, like, once again, combination of excitement and dread is how I'm gonna sum up my feelings towards that. But anyway, once again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and until the next time, take care.